This video should help you out with balancing some equations. When I have an equation and you got the equal sign in the middle, it's basically like having a big balance. So whatever in the box on this side has to weigh the same as in the box on this side. Since my box on the left has a missing number, I'm going to work on the box on the right. If you notice, I got multiplication and subtraction. So I have to remember my tower of power, which was please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and go with what I need to do first. Highest up the tower of power would be multiplying. So I'm going to multiply first. 9 times 5 is 45. And I got 45 minus 4 gets me to a 41. So the right side equals 41. So over here on the left side, it also has to equal 41. So in my head right now, I'm thinking 28 plus something equals 41. Since the sign is plus, that tells me I'm either going to be going 41 minus 28 or 41 plus 28. Because subtraction is the opposite of adding, so I know I'm never going to switch from adding to multiplying or dividing. Take a look, because a lot of people can solve this without going all the way through both numbers. This number right here, since I'm adding it to 28, has to be less than 41. Which of these would give me a number less than 41? Not that one, because it's going to be way over. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my work here, and I get a 13. So 28 plus 13 equals 41. If I put that in there, it's going to balance the equation. Let's move on to the next one. Remember, I'm trying to balance an equation. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or please excuse Dad's messy sister Alice. Remember, multiplying and dividing, same power. Adding, subtracting, same power. First thing I need to do is multiply. 4 times 4 gets me 16. And I've got adding and subtracting. The one that comes first in line is the adding. 4 plus 16 gets me to 20. Then we got 20 minus 4. I'm at 16. So I need to get this side to 16. Notice I've got subtracting, so my answer is either going to be 44 minus 16 or 44 plus 16. Take a look at this blank. Should this blank be bigger than 44 or less than 44? It's got to be less, because I can't take away more than I have. So if I did 44 plus 16, I'm going to get a number bigger than 44, so it can't be that. So it's got to be 44 minus 16. Do my borrowing, and I end up with a 28. So 44 minus 28 would balance that equation. Let's go to the next one. Remember, it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This time I have dividing and multiplying both. Even though we say my dear, they're on the same layer of the tower of power. So I do whichever one comes first in the equation, which would be dividing. 24 divided by 4 gets me a 6. 6 times 5 gets me 30. So I need the right side to be 30. Again, notice my sign is subtracting, so either I'm doing 50 minus 30 or 50 plus 30. Which one's going to make sense in my problem? Can this number be larger than 50, or do I want it to be less than 50? I'm subtracting, so it needs to be less. So 50 minus 30 gets me a 20. Then just double check to be sure. 50 minus 20 gets 30. Yep. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And this time, I see I've got dividing and adding. Dividing is higher up the power of tower. Tower of power. 6 divided by 2 equals a 3. 21 plus 3 gets me to 24. So this side also has to equal 24. Notice this time my symbol over here is multiplying. So either I'm going to be taking 24 times 3 or 24 divided by 3. What times 3 is going to get me to 24? Well, if I take 3 times 24, that's going to be a lot larger than 24, so that's not what I need. How many 3's in 24? There's 8 of them, and it should be no remainder. Double check when you get finished just to make sure. 3 times 8, does that equal 24? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Try one more out, and then I'm going to let you guys do some. Notice this time, my right side only has one step, so 7 times 20 equals 140. If we wanted a fast way to do it, I put down my 0 and I'm left with 7 times 2. Now, over here, this one's just a little bit tricky, but if you notice, they're all adding. So if I'm adding numbers, the order really doesn't matter. So I'm going to take the 55 plus 35 and add them together. That gets me to 90. So now I really have 90 plus the blank, and it's got to come out at 140. So 90 plus something equals 140. So either 140 plus 90 or 140 minus 90. Which one's going to make sense to do? I'm trying to get to a total of 140, so I can't go over 140. And if I added to it, I'm going to go over. So 140 minus 90, don't need to borrow there, but I do here. 50. If you want to double check just to make sure, 55, 50, and 35. Add them up. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5, 6, 11, 14, 140. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. For the rest of them, I'm going to give you a chance to stop the video on each one and you try them out. Going with multiplying first. 10 times 9 is 90. 90 plus 7 gets me to 97. So this side also has to equal 97. Over here, I got 97 minus 65, or 97 plus 65. Okay, take a look at it. Do I need my number to be bigger than 65? Yes, I also need my number to be bigger than 97 because I'm getting ready to take away from it. So which one of these is going to give me an answer bigger than 65 or 97? This one. 162. Double check when you get finished just to see if it makes sense. 160 something minus 60 something should give me something really close to 100. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, same power for adding and subtracting. So I'm going to do the one that's first in line. 50 minus 20 is 30. 30 plus 30 is 60. This side has to equal 60. Then 10 times something equals 60. 6. Next one, try it out. Multiplying first. 88. We got 100 minus 88. Do my borrowing, and I get 12. So this whole side is 12, so I need this side to be 12. And I was subtracting, so either I'm doing 30 minus 12 or 30 plus 12. Do I want the answer in the blank to be bigger than 30 or smaller? Smaller. So it can't be adding. 18. Double check it just to make sure it makes sense. 30 minus 18 equals 12. Sounds good. Next one, try it out. I've got subtracting and adding. Remember, they're equal in opposite powers, so I do the one first in line. 50 minus 20 is 30. 30 plus 2 gets me to 32, so this side also has to equal 32. What times 4 equals 32? If you grab your oars and know your fours, you would remember that we get up to an 8. 8 times 4 equals 32. This one, we got lots of steps over here. 23 plus 7 times 5 minus 6. Multiplying is my first step because it's highest on the tower power. Equals 35. Adding and subtracting are equal powers, so I'm going to do the adding next. 23 plus 35 gets me to a 58. 58 minus 6, I'm now at 52. So this side has to equal 52. I notice I got a subtracting sign there. So it's either 100 minus 52 or 100 plus 52. Which one's going to make sense? I need a number that's less than 100 because I'm getting ready to subtract from 100, so I don't want 152. Do my borrowing. 48. Double check when you get finished. Make sure your answer makes sense. 100 minus 48 equals 52. Sounds good. Going to the right side, I've got division and multiplying. Remember, equal and opposite powers, so I'm going to do the one first in line. 30 divided by 5 gets me a 6. 6 times 3 gets me to 18. So this side also has to equal 18. Sometimes people start freaking out when they see I got 2 blanks on this side. It really just gives you more choices. Something times something gets me to 18. So here are some possible answers I could have had. 1 times 18. 18 times 1. 2 times 9. 9 times 2. 3 times 6. 6 times 3. So you had 6 possible answers that would have worked there. This one I've got subtracting and adding on the same side. They're equal and opposite powers, so I'm doing the one that's first in line. 77 minus 30 gets me to 47. 47 plus 17. 14, carry my 1. 64. So this side has to be 64. 8 times something gets me to 64. 8 chubby 8 stuck in the door. 8 times 8, 64. 9 divided by 3 times 3. Equal and opposite powers, so I'm doing the one that's first in line. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 gets me to a 9. Something plus 3 equals 9. I bet most people can do this part in their head right now. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the two choices. So I got 9 minus 3 or 9 plus 3. Let's just make a mistake one time and say since this is plus, we're going to go ahead and add. Check out your answer when you get finished. 12 plus 3. Does that equal 9? No. Always double check to make sure that your answer makes sense. So I'm going to go back and try 9 minus 3 is 6. Put a 6 in there. 6 plus 3, yes, that equals 9. 4 plus 5 times 7. I got adding and multiplying. Multiplying is higher up the tower of power. 5 times 7 is 35. 4 plus 35 gets me to a 39. So this whole side has to equal 39. This is one you almost have to think 2 steps at a time. Something times 5 minus 1 is going to get me to 39. So since I'm only subtracting 1, I'm looking for a number really close to 39. 40. So what times 5 is going to get me to 40? About 8. So let's just double check this out. 8 times 5 gets me to 40. 40 minus 1, 39. Oh, we finally got one with some parentheses. Remember our expression is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And the first one up the list is parentheses. So I'm going to do that first. 4 plus 6 is 10. And I've got multiplying and subtracting. Multiplying is higher power. 5 times 10 is 50. 50 minus 6 gets me to a 44. Something times 11 equals 44. Well, 11s are nice. You just write the other number twice. 51 minus 13 plus 13. Minus and adding, same power, so I do the one that's first in the line. Do my borrowing. I'm at 38. I'm going to 38 plus 13. And wow, I'm right back to 51. That should make sense to people because I took away with a number and then I added it right back. So on this side I need 51. So it's either going to be 51 plus 2 or 51 minus 2. If I'm trying to get to 51 total and I'm going to add on to it, I need a number less than 51. So I should end up with 51 minus 2 is 49. Double check, make sure my answer makes sense. 49 plus 2 gets me 51. Last one. 10 times 6 plus 7. Well, multiplying is high up the tower of power, but parentheses is the highest. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 10 times 13 gives me 130. Remember when I multiply by 10, I just put a 0 at the end. So I need to get 130 on this side. So 222 minus 130, or 222 plus 130. My blank is coming after the 222, and I'm subtracting, so my number needs to be less than 222. If I added a 222, it's not going to be less. So I'm subtracting down here, and I end up with 92. Double check to see if that answer could make sense. 222 minus 92, can I do that? Yeah. And I end up with 130. So that's how I would go about balancing equations.